This conference will now be recorded.
Hi there, this is Sam Sanson with USA Voice and Data. I'm joined today by Valerie Hulam from Jive Log Me In. And today we'll be talking about enabling remote working for your business. Obviously, with the pandemic upon us right now, an awful lot of businesses have found that they can't reasonably be asking their employees to come into the office for health reasons. So obviously they're trying to enable those same workers to work from home and be as productive at home as they are normally in the office. And obviously with their existing infrastructure and premise-based phone systems with very little functionality and features and stuff like this, this is extremely hard. Even if they had an IP-based phone system, would make it extremely difficult. So today we're going to be reviewing unified communication as a service as a solution which can enable this remote working very easily. And actually, Valerie and I are going to show you that in 30 minutes, we could set up your business and your employees with a UCaaS solution, and that can all be done for as little as $20 per employee per month. So without any further ado, let's just take a look at today's agenda. So firstly, we'll be covering why you should be adopting UCaaS now to enable remote working. Obviously, you know, you're kind of being forced to by the pandemic, but there's a lot of good reasons why it makes sense to immediately jump on it right now. Secondly, I'll just quickly touch on who USA Voice and Data is and why we are the UCaaS experts, etc. And then we'll move on to what's actually included with UCaaS, because lots of folks are used to having a traditional phone system where they can just make and receive calls, and obviously unified communication allows a lot more than that. So, you know, there's a real business case for adopting UCaaS, even if there wasn't a pandemic going on. But it's important that you understand what's actually included within the unified communications solutions. Then we'll be handing over to Valerie, and she's actually going to be doing a live demo of literally setting up a business phone system in the cloud and setting up users, etc., and enabling remote working. And then finally, we'll be touching on how do you get started if you are wanting to enable this remote working. So first, you know, what are the typical UCaaS drivers? I think this is important. Like all of these are the typical regular, if there was no pandemic going on, these are the sort of things which are having people replace their phone systems with a UCaaS solution. Obviously, with COVID-19 and this remote working requirement, the triggers which are immediately kicked off are, you know, mobility. Those folks who were once tied to a desk in the office now need to be able to work from wherever they are, and that may be, you know, their regular. They may still be working in the office, but or they may actually be working from their homes and so on and so forth, right? As soon as you move people out of their office, you need to like enable collaboration tools so that those remote workers can actually work together more seamlessly. And obviously, you have to have access no matter where they are globally. And then finally, obviously, for the actual folks trying to make this happen, it's clear that you need easy admin. For those folks that have a contact center, again, here are some of the more typical contact center as a service drivers. And again, with COVID-19, lots of these immediately spring into action. Firstly, global presence, expanding your talent pool, meaning you can now hire actual customer service reps anywhere in the country or even in the world. And the tools that you're going to be providing them are going to help you improve customer service. And obviously a bit on the expanded talent pool. because folks are working wherever, that allows you to further optimize your workforce. So all of these things are not only relevant just on a regular basis, but they become even more important with the COVID-19 response. So USA Voice and Data, who are we? We're a leading technology solution advisor and broker. We help educate our clients on a number of different solution categories: cloud platform, voice, internet network, data center security, conferencing. Obviously, what we're talking today is about cloud services and voice services, etc. But we do have a broader range of different expertises and different solution categories. We have helped literally hundreds of businesses move to UCaaS and CCaaS solutions, and we've helped them with a wide variety of different UCaaS, CCaaS solutions from all of these different providers. Again, today we'll be talking about the Jive LogMeIn solution, etc. But obviously, over many years working in this business, we have deep relationships with all these different UCaaS and CCaaS providers. So what's included with UCaaS? So UCaaS includes a whole host of different features. First of all, obviously telephony. You got to be able to make a call. Secondly, presence, the ability to see the other folks who are working in your organization and whether they're on the phone or not, or whether they're available. If they're on the phone already, obviously you can save time by recognizing they're on the phone, and maybe while they're on the phone they can answer an SMS message or something like that. So it also provides messaging. It allows team collaboration by desk sharing, providing webinars like you're seeing today, a video recording of a webinar, and the ability to even do video conferencing, overlaying videos so you can see each other's pretty faces while you're having meetings. It's almost as good as being there in person, but without the germs, I guess. So and then finally, obviously, it provides you the flexibility and mobility that you need to work from anywhere on any connected device, and a bit more about those devices coming up. So yeah, Jive is definitely one of the Gartner recognized leaders in UCaaS, and obviously with in conjunction with LogMeIn and GoToMeeting and so on and so forth, they have a full suite of unified communications offering. And again, one of the great things about UCaaS is there's an awful lot of features which get included. And one of the nice things about Jive LogMeIn is, versus giving you a few standard features and then nickeling and diming you for individual add-on features that you might find useful, instead they basically have gone to market with, okay, hey, you know what, it's one flat price, we give you everything, and that's kind of like a big differentiator for them. So with that, let's move on to the live demo with Valerie. And again, I'm just looking at my watch here. It's about 2:35 in the afternoon. I think we're hoping to click through this in about 20 minutes, not 30 minutes. So let me just walk you through what's going to happen. The first, the 7 steps for enabling the remote worker is number 1, we obviously need to know the employee information so we can generate a service quote. Once that service quote has been generated, the client will receive an automatic email with a link to the quote, and within that quote they'll be able to accept the quote by hitting a "Let's do this" button. Payment details will be confirmed, and the admin person's details will be confirmed. after which the admin will then complete account setup with the Jive support team using the admin dashboard. And that's what Valerie's really going to get into today. And once this actual setup's been completed, then all you'll need to do is call your existing phone service provider and forward your main number and or individual DIDs for those folks that you're moving out into the field and into remote working, so that your calls will now ring directly into the Jive platform. The admin will have set up the sort of core functionality, but the individual users will also receive emails that they'll have to click on a couple of links to set up and download their soft phone for their laptop, or a mobile app, which will basically work on whatever sort of smartphone that they have. And then also, obviously, they'll need to either log into their Outlook or Google Calendar to add in the GoToMeeting add-ins and so on and so forth. And that really is it. So with no further delay, I'm just going to show you a quick spreadsheet that we use to collect, a real simple spreadsheet to quickly collect the user information. So it's going to be who the user is, where they are they in the office, or are they working remotely? Do they need a handset, or are they going to just use a soft phone or maybe a smartphone or something like that? Or if it's a conference room, are they going to need a conference room phone, or are they looking for a video conferencing solution, and so on and so forth? So very basic information about the number of users, any sort of equipment if necessary. And again, no equipment is necessary. You can totally just go with soft phones and smartphone apps. What sort of extensions you'd like them to have, their cell phone numbers so that you can do find me, follow me, DID, any DIDs that they would have that you want to have forwarded, and what their email address is. And that really is the core information that's going to be needed for programming the phone system. And then now I will hand over to Valerie, who I think, Valerie, you're going to be able to share your screen here. Let me just make you a presenter here, and I'll let you move on.
Great, thank you, Sam.
Sure, no problem.
Wonderful. So once you have submitted that sheet to Sam and he's able to build that proposal for voice services for you, when you've looked through that and everything is looking the way that you want it to and you're ready to move forward, you just simply click on the bright green button in the bottom right corner that says, "Let's do this." And when you do that, that will take you to our Welcome to Jive experience. And for an admin, this is going to simplify this total account setup for you so that in a few short steps, everything is the way that you need it to be, and you can start moving forward with your new phone system to enable that remote workforce. So the first step of this Welcome to Jive is to review the order. And that just shows you your today's total and then your monthly total for what that would look like. Then you go on to the second step, and this is where you just pop in that payment information, so the card you want on file, and then you e-sign. After that, you'll just confirm that billing address. If it is going to be the same as the shipment address for any hardware that you do want to have, then you can just check the box underneath the billing address. If it's not going to be the same, then you can leave it unchecked, and we can ship to multiple addresses. In step 4, this is where you'll put in the contact information for whoever will be administering the system. So this can be maybe your IT person, maybe it's yourself. If you want to have help from Sam, we highly recommend, because Sam and his team are excellent, having in the authorized partner area these 2 check boxes. So one is to approve their team to access your account so they can assist with any sort of support and check on things for your account. And then the other checkbox is going to be to have them help with the setup process. Again, Sam's team has been doing this for many years. They're really well versed in this, and so we highly recommend you checking those boxes. The 5th step is going to be your phone setup, and this is going to be whether you are doing soft phone only users, or you're ordering equipment for them, we'll go through this process the same. At the top, we're going to have our different addresses, and you can send these to as many addresses as you need to. If you wanted to send each phone to each of your remote workers at their home address, you can absolutely add in those locations at the top.
And Valerie, just a quick question.
Mhm.
Obviously, what we're talking here is a lot of folks being enabled through soft phones and so on and so forth versus ordering hardware. So if that was the case, you would just, instead of the phone item, it would just be soft phone, would it?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point. So this would be, if you are ordering equipment, you can add those shipping addresses. If not, that's an even simpler setup because you just select soft phone only from
Yeah, and
there.
obviously, to get turned on and switched on in 30 minutes, that's going to be requiring you to use a soft phone initially, at least, right? Obviously, you can order hardware as well, but we could still enable the soft phone and smartphone capabilities immediately, and then you could plug in phones as and when they arrived, etc.
Absolutely. And then when you're adding in your users, you just put in their first and last name in this area, and then their email address. When their email address is input here, and you go to the next step, it's going to send them an email that will tell them where they need to register to set up their password, so then they can log into that soft phone and start making calls immediately. And those are the steps for walking through the Welcome to Jive process. So the very last step is registering yourself for your account. And that would be where you put in your first and last name as the administrator, your email address, and then the password that you'd like to have in there. So as soon as you've registered and you've created your Jive ID with your password, you are able to log into our administration dashboard. And that is what is now showing on the screen. So this is where all of your configuration for your account is going to happen. Now, because we did that phone setup step for the soft phones, all of your users are already going to be in place in your system. So you don't have to add anything else in here because that's already done. What we can now do is start configuring how calls are going to be routed through your new system. And that would be maybe setting up a ring group where it rings multiple people at one time. To set this up, we'll just click Add Ring Group. It will auto-generate an extension, which is how we identify on the system. And then we'll type in our new ring group. Click the check mark to save, and then we'll click into that and go to the Members tab and choose our users that we want to have in there. So let's say this is going to be Alex, Chris, and Mike are all going to be in this ring group. Once we click Save, then we can go in and make a schedule for our calls to come in. And again, adding a schedule is going to be nice and simple. You just click Add Schedule. This is going to be our new main schedule. And click that check mark to save. When we click into that schedule, we can scroll down and we'll have this full scheduler that we can put our hours in. So we'll go 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Then we'll come up to the top, click that check mark to save. And now we have our open and closed hours for our phone system. If you want to add any holidays in, you can definitely do that. You just click into the holidays area and you can start adding in those holidays. But for now, we'll just leave it as our normal business hours. And that comes together in our dial plan, which is where all of the calls will route through the system. We have a visual dial plan editor so that you can really see how those are going to flow through your system and how they're going to be routed to your employees. We have many templates that you can use. We also have documentation if you wanted to learn more. We're just going to start with a blank one today. And this start node is really where you can think of when someone calls into your business, then what happens. So the first thing is we would have them route through that new schedule that we just made. And then we have when open, when closed, and when on holiday. So when we're open, we want it to run through an auto attendant, which will give them just a few different options. They can dial an extension if they already know what that is. If they want to reach sales, then we'll have that run through that ring group that we created where they can talk to Alex, Chris, or Mike. Here we go. And if none of them are able to answer the phone, then let's have it go to their manager, who is Ken. And then option 2, because option 1 was for sales, let's say option 2 is for our support team. And that right now is just one person. We're going to have that run through to Jesse. We'll have it modify that caller ID first so that Jesse knows that they're calling in from the main phone number. So he knows how that call was routed to him. And that will just prepend the caller ID so that when Jesse sees that call come in, it will say main customer service and then the caller ID of whoever called in.
So it might be a good idea to put a modified caller ID for that number 1 too, then, Larry, for like main sales or something like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's nice and easy, click and drag, so that you can make these adjustments on the fly. And as you find what works best for your system now, maybe it's going to change a little bit since you have more people working remotely. You can just come in and adjust these. As soon as you click save, it's all updated in real time. So it's a nice and quick change for you. And then when you're closed, we can just have that go through to a voicemail box. And again, click save, and those changes update in real time. So on the admin side, the final piece will just be to order phone numbers, and these will be temporary phone numbers that your current provider will then forward to. So you can keep all your main phone numbers. We can do what's called a spoof so that when you do outbound calls, all of your communication will look and feel the same to your clients, even though you're now spread out all over working from home as you need to with what's going on right now. The ordering process is nice and simple. It's all through a dashboard. We'll just go through these simplified steps, and that will add a phone number to your system. Through and add one of those. Just to put in that I'm in the United States and my address. Click Utah. And then you have the options to do local numbers, toll-free numbers, but since these are just going to be temporary numbers that no one's going to see, because you'll have your phone numbers that are for your business, we'll just go ahead and pick a local number, add that to our cart, click continue, and then review the order. Once we place that order, it usually takes about 30 seconds to show up in our PBX, and then we can route this new phone number to that dial plan that we just made. And this brand new phone number is going to be what you'll want to give to your current provider so that they can forward those phone numbers. When you have that phone number come through, you'll just click on this pencil icon to edit how it's being routed. And you'll click on this new dial plan that we just made and click save. And now anytime that you get a call forwarded from your current provider to this phone number, it's going to run through that dial plan that we just made, and all of your calls will be routed to your people wherever they are. So that's going to be the admin
and Valerie,
experience.
you mentioned that you could spoof the outbound caller ID too. So those folks that are using the soft phones, when they make the outbound call, it could basically send out the main business, the main recognized business number, correct?
Exactly. Exactly. So that way, all of the communication will still feel the same for your current clientele, and for any new customers, they're not going to have different phone numbers showing to them or anything like that.
Perfect.
So it's really that simple on the admin side to set up. So now we can kind of switch gears over to the user experience and see what they need to do to get set up to be ready to sign in to their account. So when they receive the email from us to that email you put in as their user, they will get a link to this website on jive.com/register. And we're going to go ahead and register with an email that I added to my account. So it's going to be this Jessica Jive. And we'll put in the same email that you put in as her user. And then we'll make a password for her. And we'll register that. So now we have successful registration, which is excellent. And we're going to proceed to our sign in this window. So we're going to now come into my.jive.com, which is the web address for our soft phone. So we'll come in with her Gmail address that we added and put in her password that we just created. This is going to have them just accept the terms and conditions for use of the soft phone. And this will now, oh, my internet just, there we go. So they'll have the option, that big blue bar at the top gives them the option to download the desktop application, and that is supported for Windows machines and Mac machines. So they can download that. But now Jessica has access to her phone. So she can now come into this dial pad and start dialing out phone numbers. She can send text messages, she can receive voicemails. All of that is going to run through this web browser or in the desktop application that she can download. And with this, she'll get access to her meeting room, which is going to be her email address is going to tie to her calendar. She'll have her own meeting room where she can create meetings. So we're going to create her meeting room name, and we'll keep it nice and simple with my.jive.com/meet/Jessica Jive as her name. And we'll reserve that. And then she has that meeting room available to her to use. And in addition to the soft phone on the computer, she'll also have access to the mobile application on her cell phone. So I am going to project up my cell phone now on the screen so you can see what that sign-in experience would look like for one of your users. So I am using an iPhone, but it is also available for Android phones. They will just go into their app store, whether it's the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and they'll find the GoToConnect mobile app. And then we'll click download. We'll just start downloading. And as soon as that's finished, we can click open, and it will give us the option to sign in. Perfect. So we're just going to sign into this using that email address. It looks like it's remembering from the last time I signed in, so I'll just show you that sign-in process. And if you choose to set up single sign-on, then you can carry over the email credentials that you currently use and use single sign-on, so it'll keep those security parameters in place. So this is going to keep my security parameters that I have in place, where I do a multi-factor authentication, and then allow me to access the app. So I can choose to allow a sync of my contacts, and then I choose to allow microphone access and allow notifications. And that will just make it so that when anyone calls into me, I'll be able to receive a full notification on my cell phone. And it's as simple as that. A user can now make and receive calls from their mobile application. They can run meetings from their mobile application, and they can also do it on the soft phone.
And Valerie, the key here is that these calls, they're running through the app and they're a part of the actual Jive business phone system. So when you're making a call using the soft phone, it's not outpulsing your personal cell phone number. It's outpulsing the business phone number associated with your account or your individual DID if you've decided to have a DID for each individual. So people are not being forced to give out their private cell phone numbers, and B, every call that is made, there's a record of that call being made, or every call received and answered. There's records of it available on the Jive platform, phone system platform.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then one quick little tip that I wanted to show you is how easy it is to add in your meeting to your calendar. So when you have a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar, when you're sending out invitations and you want people to join your meeting, sometimes it can be a bit cumbersome to copy over all of that meeting information to that invite. So with our platform, we are able to use it as a plugin for Google and for Outlook. So when you click more options for this meeting that we're scheduling, you can click those three dots on that calendar invitation, click Get Add-ins. When you click that, you can then search for the GoToMeeting plugin and click Add. Once that is added, you can then just sign in to that GoToMeeting and add your personal meeting room or create a specific meeting room for this calendar invitation. And it will automatically autofill your URL, all of your dial-in information, and everything that you need to be able to send that invite out without you having to copy and paste anything.
So yeah, if you have a recurring meeting, then lots of times it's the most convenient thing just to use the Valerie's personal meeting room. But equally, if you want to have like a one-off meeting and so on and so forth, there's the option that you can basically select an individual ID for each individual meeting. So it's very flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point, Sam.
And you know, what we've demonstrated here was for with Gmail, excuse me, with Outlook rather. But it's the same applies for both platforms.
Yes, it does. Wonderful. So that is how we can set up for a user and for an admin on the Jive system in just a few minutes.
That's right.
So I'll
Okay.
pass that screen back to you, Sam.
All right. Okay. Well, great job, Valerie. Here, let me share my screen again and we'll just wrap up. So again, here's what we just showed you. We showed you that, you know, it's important that we have the user information so we can generate this quotes. Quotes can be generated very quickly. Once those quotes are in, you got that email with the let's do this with the quote, and then all you have to do is confirm your payment details. They do request a credit card initially to pay for anything, pay for any upfront costs, but invoices are sent on the 10th of every month, and you can, once the account has been set up, you can choose to have regular invoice billing and it not to hit a credit card. So totally up to you. The admin account setup is super easy. The drag and drop interface is really neat and self-explanatory. And obviously there is a dedicated support team to help you with the onboarding. And obviously my team at USA Voice and Data has a lot of experience as well. And we can sit in on those calls and help and make sure that you're aware of best practices, etc. All you then need to do is call your current service provider, have them forward your main number and any individual DIDs that you'd like, and boom, your calls will start ringing through your existing provider and onto the Jive platform. And then obviously at your convenience, we can then organize to actually port your numbers permanently to Jive if this is a solution that you're looking to put in on a longer term basis. And frankly, I don't have any clients who have put in a UCaaS solution as a sort of temporary stopgap measure. It's tended to be, we're going to make this change and we're going to make it for the long term. So, but obviously we wanted to answer the need for an immediate enablement of those remote employees. As you saw, the users get a very simple email, a couple of links to click to set up their users, set up their passwords, download the apps and the soft phones, and they're off and running. And then finally, they can log into their Outlook or Google Calendar to add the GoToMeeting add-ins, and that was it. So how to get started? Let me just wrap up by just saying, hey, we have a team of experts here. We do this day in, day out. This may seem a little scary to folks who are not used to these types of solutions, but they really are as easy as you've seen today. But we're absolutely happy to hold your hands and make sure you get the level of support during the rollout of these UCaaS services to your employees. With that, I would just like to thank Valerie so much for her assistance today. Again, as promised, we said we were going to set up a phone system for you in 30 minutes and enable remote workers, and we've just shown you we can do that in probably 20. So again, if you are looking to enable some remote workers, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'd be happy to help. Thanks so much. Have a great day.